everyone. This is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger from SacredSoulEmpowerment.com, here to do your monthly angel card reading for August 2016. For this monthly reading, we're going to be using Doreen Virtue's Angel Tarot deck. And your special message card this month is going to come from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck, also by Doreen Virtue. So let's first, before we get into the important astrology for the month, let's look at your stones of choice for your special message card. Your first stone of choice is amber. This is an amber sphere. And the amber color, the deep golden yellow color, is going to vibrate to the solar plexus chakra. And here at the solar plexus chakra, I know it's a little off camera, but here is where your center of personal power is. This is that area right above your belly button. And again, this is where your sense of personal power is. I feel like this stone, we're likening it to matters of career and moving forward on your destiny path. Again, empowering yourself or owning your power, stepping into that power on your path. This stone amber is also good for clearing away lower vibrational energies, frustrating, depression types, those lower vibrating mental and emotional energies. It's very good at helping to clear that away. Your second stone of choice is rose quartz. I don't know if you can tell that this is actually a pink rose quartz sphere as far as the light coming in here from the window. But this is going to vibrate to the heart chakra. And this rose quartz is very good for matters of self-love, self-care, self-nurture. It's good for relationship, the healing of emotional relationship matters. And it's got a very soft, gentle, feminine energy to it. So this is going to be, very gently clearing of old patterns that deal with any self-critical or self-judgmental tendencies that you have towards yourself, so that you can truly come into the sense of unconditional love. Your third stone of choice is going to be an amethyst sphere. The amethyst, of course, is going to vibrate to the crown chakra here. This amethyst is really good for increasing your dream activity or paying attention to or remembering your dreams. It's going to open you up to divine guidance, the ability to hear, see, understand divine messages from your angels and guides, along with God's source energy. Again, very high vibrational to help you to understand spiritual knowledge and wisdom. So I sort of chose these stones of choice in relation to the chakras that they're associated with. So again, we can choose between the amber if you're dealing with issues of empowerment or empowering yourself, along with career, business, financial, life path sorts of decisions. The rose quartz sphere is dealing with matters of the heart, love, relationships, and again, loving and respecting yourself. And the amethyst sphere is going to be for matters of spiritual understanding and wisdom, heightening your sense of intuition and psychic understanding. So let's put those aside and let's talk a little bit about the energies of August. August, as far as numerology is concerned, is vibrating to the number 17. And how do we get that? We're in a universal 9 year. We've talked about this all throughout 2016. When you add the 2, 0, 1, and 6 of 2016, you get a 9. So we as a humanity are in a 9 universal year, which is the ending of a cycle. We're clearing old energies out, we're releasing, we're purging, we're in a time of going with the flow because we don't know really what is going to be ahead of us. The 9 can be kind of a confusing energy where things don't make sense, and we've certainly experienced that during this year so far of 2016. I hear a lot of people that, are in situations or circumstances that just don't really seem to make sense, or they don't know what's next, or they don't know what direction to go or what decision to make. And that's kind of that 9 universal energy. And if you take the 9 universal energy that we're in, you add it to the number 8, which is the month of August. August is the 8th month. You get that number 17, which in numerology, if we add the 1 and the 7, reduces down to an 8. So that vibration of the 8 is about third dimensional matters. It's about career. It's about our life path, our destiny path. It's about money. It's about finances. From a spiritual perspective, it's about power and control. It is about us empowering ourselves and stepping into our power. And it is about us being our own authority and really taking charge of our life and taking charge within as far as our destiny path and life path. And it is a strong masculine type of energy. It's, again, about leadership and being a manager and really being that power, basically, but in a balanced way, that power to move forward. Think about the number 8 for a minute. And if you take that number 8 and you turn it on its side, it becomes the infinity symbol. And the infinity symbol, just like the number 8, there's a balance here, as above, so below, or a balance when it's the infinity symbol of the masculine and the feminine energies. And that's truly where our greatest personal power can come, is when we balance those energies within us. And so this is part of what's going to be happening this month, or what we should be focusing on this month, is finding that balance of our internal personal power within ourselves and owning that spiritual power, but using it wisely at the same time. Now, the number 17, which it actually is before we reduce it down, in the tarot, the 17th major arcana is the star card. And actually the star card is a wonderful card about hope and about the future and about focusing on what our dreams are and moving towards those goals. Again, with that sense of hope and reassuredness that we're getting to a better place. We're moving forward into a better space and in a better place. And I certainly hope that we see that in the month of August. However, I have to also say that for all of the month of August, we're going to be experiencing Saturn square Neptune. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the astrology. But Saturn square Neptune is really that illusion versus reality energy, and what's real and what's not. And that's why there's a lot of interesting dynamics going on the planet right now, and especially since I live in the United States, I see a lot of that interesting chaotic reality versus illusion, illusion versus reality thing that's playing out here in the country that I live in. So probably everywhere around the globe there's a little bit of that going on. And so even though we should dream and hope for the future and make some long-term plans for our happiness and for manifesting what it is that we desire, I also feel like there's still going to be a lot of confusion through this month as we move through it. So this brings us to the astrology of the month. Let's talk about the astrology before we look at the cards from our angels and guides. We start off the month on August 2nd, and keep in mind these are only the highlights of the month astrologically, and then you can watch the weekly readings on YouTube for a more precise view of the weekly aspects. And you can also watch my Facebook posts on my page Colleen Lemma and on my page Sacred Soul Empowerment to get more information. So again, these are just the highlights of the month of August, and we start out on August 2nd with a new moon in Leo. And this is bright and sunny and full of confidence and creative energies. And it is actually in a positive aspect to Saturn. Now, Saturn is slowing down to turn back to direct motion this month. But Saturn in the mix with this new moon can help to ground in some energies or manifest creative projects or manifest certain creative energies that we might be working on. The other thing that's occurring on this day of the new moon, August 2nd, is that Mars is finally moving back into Sagittarius, and I am so very happy about that. While Mars went back into Scorpio for this little bit of time, and then of course previous when it was in Scorpio for quite a while, we were dealing with purging energies of disempowerment, where we're dealing with things that were secret or that we didn't know what was really going on and happening underneath the radar. We were dealing with maybe some potential areas of abuse or frustrations or anger. All of these things are very Mars and Scorpio kind of energy. Now that Mars is going back into Sagittarius, things are going to pick up speed because now Mars being in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is a fire sign and Mars is a fire planet, so it likes to be in Sagittarius. And again, things with fire move more quickly. If you look back to the last weekly reading of July, we had a lot of fire cards because we're now in this time of Leo energy. A lot of planets that have been or were in the sign of Leo, which is a fire sign. So fire is unpredictable, but it's inspirational and it's creative and it's exciting and it's adventurous. And that's what Mars going back into Sagittarius is going to be about. Things are going to pick up speed and start moving right along. And although we don't know what things may unfold, I feel like some of them are going to be wonderful, good, abundant things. And I'm not going to say bad things, but I'm going to say that some things may still be challenging. And we're going to get to again why that might be. On August 5th, Venus, which is the planet that rules love and relationships, it also rules finances and money, it's moving out of Leo and into Virgo. So now Venus here is going to be much more particular in relationship matters, and she's going to be much more detail-oriented in financial matters or money matters. There's also this element of being a little bit self-critical. Venus does rule our sense of how we value ourselves. So Venus and Virgo can get a little bit hung up on, oh, I'm not good enough, or I need to be better, or I should have done something else. So try not to allow yourselves to go into that mode, but instead use that Virgo energy as an energy of discernment and of paying attention to the details. Then on the 13th, we have Saturn moving back to direct motion in the sign of Sagittarius. Okay, so it's been retrograde for a little while, bringing up all kinds of spiritual lessons, as Saturn likes to do, in regards to judgments and religions and ideas and philosophies and different types of cultures and different types of groups of people. And we have seen that a lot in the last few months, unfortunately. Well, I want to say unfortunately, but no, it's really fortunate because although there's been a lot of challenges in regards to this sense of separation and the judgments that have been going on, there's also been a lot of growth from a spiritual perspective and a movement into trying to dissolve those boundaries, which is really what the lesson of Saturn being in this sign is all about, is let's dissolve those boundaries. Let's understand that we're all one people, one humanity on this planet, and let's all band together. Saturn is a very strong, secure, grounded energy, so let's all band together in a grounded, secure, supportive way to assist one another and love one another and make our world the best that it can possibly be, which is the Sagittarius energy, which is just about blessings. It's about blessings and our long-term goals and things just being very happy and bright and optimistic. And let's use Saturn to ground in that energy and manifest that type of energy rather than allowing it to be about these lessons of judgment. And also I have to say that Sagittarius is about freedom too. That's one of the big things Sagittarius is about, is our sense of freedom. And here Saturn and Sagittarius can bring lessons regarding our freedom. Are we truly free? Are we free individuals as we should be? Find the freedom within yourself. Know that you are free from a spiritual perspective. And then let's stand our ground to be free as a people as well on this planet. Okay, so then we're going to move to the 18th of August. And now we're getting into eclipse season. We're going to have 3 eclipse moons here coming up. The full moon lunar eclipse on August 18th. And then in September, we're going to have a new moon solar eclipse and another full moon lunar eclipse. But this full moon lunar eclipse on the 18th of August is at 25 to 26 degrees Aquarius. And there's not really anything aspecting this full moon that I can see. But we do have Mercury and Venus and Jupiter all together in the sign. And we do have, very interestingly enough, Mars is approaching Saturn. It's approaching this conjunction with Saturn in Sagittarius, and they're both squaring or challenging Neptune. And this is where we get into that Saturn-Neptune square that's active all month, which is reality versus illusion. Illusion versus reality. What's real and what's not real. So I think this is going to be an interesting full moon, even though there's no aspects to it particularly. We're going to want to pay attention to, again, kind of really kind of nitpicky types of energies, and using it instead to analyze and be logical about what's going on with all that Virgo energy, expanding our perceptions. And also with Mars coming up to Saturn and Sagittarius, I feel like that's going to be activating something in regards to our freedom, activating something in regards to grounding in the sense of movement and security that we're seeking. But again, it's challenging Neptune, so I still feel like there's going to be a lot of confusion going on. A lot of things that are unknown going on, a lot of drama going on. The Saturn squaring Neptune all month can really be bringing in a lot of drama kinds of energies that just seem a little bit too wild or a little unbelievable. Then on the 22nd, the sun moves into Virgo. That happens every year around this time. On the 24th, Mars finally comes up to Saturn and conjuncts Saturn. So it's going to activate something. Mars is an activator. To what exactly it's going to activate, I'm not quite sure yet, because again, Saturn, we can look at it in the positive or not so positive way. Manifestation and security versus these karmic lessons of judgments and different groups and division of these groups of people and individuals on the planet. And again, even though Mars is coming up to Saturn in this wonderful, optimistic, beautiful sign of Sagittarius, it is still in that challenging mode to Neptune. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen there. It should be very interesting, though. On the 26th, Mars then finally comes to that square connection or challenging connection to Neptune. So basically, from around the 22nd to probably around the 27th or so is this whole block of time where we're going to have Mars conjunct Saturn and square challenge Neptune. So there's this window of time where there's going to be some interesting things taking place on the planet. On the 29th, Venus moves into Libra. Remember, on the 5th of August, Venus went into Virgo, but it zipped right through Virgo, and now on the 29th of August, it's in Libra. This is one of Venus's home signs, so she's very comfortable there. It's all about harmony and peace and balance and relationships and love and let's just have this wonderful, beautiful, balanced, equal kind of partnership. And it's about justice too. The sign of the scales, Libra, is about justice. On the 30th of August, we go into our next retrograde cycle. So Mars goes retrograde at 29 degrees of Virgo, which is interesting. That's the last degree of Virgo. And it will retrograde all the way back to 14 degrees of Virgo around the 21st of September before it goes direct. So we have Mercury in one of its ruling signs, because it does rule Virgo, going retrograde. And it's going to be a time of analyzing and trying to understand what exactly is happening. I feel like this is kind of going to be something that comes on the heels of that Mars, Saturn, Neptune thing, to where we're trying to analyze, understand the details, pick things apart, be really logical about things. And of course, it's going to be a time of redoing things and reviewing things and everything that Mercury retrograde is typically about. Okay. The other big thing is that the North and South Node, which are destiny points, it's about where we're going as a humanity and where we've come from in previous incarnations as a humanity or the planet. This is connecting to that the Neptune-Saturn square all month. So there's something karmic taking place here. There's the nodes are always indicating that there's some sort of karmic movement that's happening. And Saturn is usually about the past. It rules time, and it rules the lessons of the past. And Neptune, again, is this very spiritual planet, unconditional love and compassion planet. So let's all move into this karmic shift of compassion and unconditional love and equality for all, and understanding that we're all one, because that's very Neptunian, rather than being drugged back into this past of lessons of the Saturn energy that I think we've been going through for way too long. So that is the important things that are happening astrologically. So we're running out of time here, so let's look at the cards for the month of August. And I did pre-pull them because I knew I'd be talking about the astrology for a while. So card number 1 is Major Arcana number 2, the High Priestess, Archangel Haniel. This is very interesting because this is kind of that very Neptunian kind of energy. It says, listen to your intuition. Have patience. Consider carefully what you want before acting. So this is really asking us to tune into our inner guidance, our inner intuitions. Call in the archangels, especially Archangel Haniel here, to tap into this Neptunian energy. It's heightening our ability with all of our psychic senses. It's heightening our ability to feel what is right for us and feel what the next step should be for us. And this even too is for humanity as a whole. Let's take a look at card number 2 and get more information. Another Major Arcana, interesting. This is Major Arcana number 9, and this is the Hermit card with Archangel Raziel, and it says, spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, and self-discovery. So this goes really well with the High Priestess, okay? They're both cards that deal with the inner world of intuition, our inner world of connecting to our higher soul self, our higher energy, knowing that we're connected to universal energies, God source energies. The Hermit card is asking us to do some more self-reflection, sort of like we're on an inner soul search to understand ourselves better and how our lives and the plan of our lives fits in with the whole scheme of things. There can be a lot of sometimes some confusion and maybe some inner anxieties or doubts, I feel, with the Hermit card, which is why we need to draw back our energies, pull back our energies, and go within, do more meditation, do more spiritual studies, and come into, again, a sense of an understanding about ourselves as spiritual beings, not just human beings, but spiritual beings, okay? We're all here having a spiritual experience. We need to understand our spiritual connectedness. We need to understand that we are part of that universal life force energy. We're not separate from it. We're not disconnected from it. Again, that's kind of playing out here with all these factions and separations of different groups that now Neptune is blurring the lines of, and it's the boundaries here are starting to separate so that we can understand that we're all part of that same source, that we're all spiritual beings, and that we all need to come together. Okay, let's take a look at the next card. Okay, the next card is the Ten of Fire, okay? The Ten of Fire says, too much work, accept help from others, life is out of balance, and stress-related health concerns. Now, this is usually a card that means there's a lot of things that are coming to a head. Now, this is a spiritual energy. The fire is a spiritual element. but it's usually about feeling like there's heavy burdens or responsibilities on you, or that there's too much that you're carrying. There's so much going on. There's so many different avenues that you're having to deal with that you feel a little stressed. You feel tired. You feel again, a little overburdened with everything that's happening. But you notice this is the number 10, and it's the last of the number minor arcana before we get to the page and the knight and the queen and the king. So this being the last in line, the number 10 means that we're at the end of something. We're coming to the end of this sense of burden. We're coming to the end of this feelings of over responsibility and stress, which, by the way, too, they're saying to get more rest and to take better care, self-care with yourself. So that this doesn't manifest into something physical. Again, with too much stress, it can manifest into the physical body. So we don't want it to go there. So ask for assistance from others. Ask for guidance. If you need guidance, ask for it. If you need help with something, ask for it. If you need somebody to be a sounding board, ask them. Connect with family, connect with friends, those people that you can trust, who believe in you, who support you. I feel like most of the month you're going to be maybe, kind of being a loner here with the Hermit card. And even the High Priestess card can be kind of an inner one-on-one kind of journey between you and Spirit. But when you're in need, go ahead and ask for that assistance that you need, okay? Now, I did pull a fourth card. I just intuitively felt like we needed to, so let's see what that is all about. Okay, we have another major arcana, so this is a really important month here. We have 3 major arcana cards. This is major arcana number 16, which, interestingly enough, was the vibration, the numerology vibration for July. 9 plus July 7 was a 16. So interesting that we have it here in this this monthly reading of August, but this is called Life Experience with Archangel Chamuel, and it says a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. So there's something very important that's going to occur. This is usually the Tower card in the traditional tarot, meaning there's going to be some significant changes in the circumstances around you, some significant event changes, redirections. Might be related to career, job, finances, relationship. It could be connected to anything. However, we see this angel that seems to be walking away from a castle or a home in the background. Now, that might indicate that you're walking away from something, but at the same time, she's walking into this field of flowers. So you are walking forward into something that's better, bigger, brighter, and more beautiful than what it is that you're leaving behind here in the background. All right, so we're running out of time, so let's go ahead and see what your card is, your special message card for the Stone of Choice. So for those of you that chose the amber, I know I'm trying not to look at the screen because I can see the bottom of the cards here, and I don't want to see the bottoms of the cards as I'm shuffling. Amber people, okay, this one's sticking out to me. Amber people, Aphrodite and Inner Goddess. Beautiful card. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. This is a lot about self-love, self-respect, again, appreciating yourself, knowing that you're worthy and deserving. So I feel like you need to get out and just let your inner beauty shine, let your inner light shine, whatever that might be. Be creative, be full of love, be full of life, do things that you're passionate about. This is what Aphrodite is asking you to do this month of August. Okay, let's take a look at the special message card for those that chose the Rose Quartz. This one comes out, Nematona, and it's sacred space. It says create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. So this month, it's really that High Priestess and Hermit card for you, going within, meditating, being out in nature, finding a sacred space within your home even, light a lot of candles, play some very nice, soothing music, and really connect within yourself to your sacredness, to your divinity. Find the voice within that helps to lead you on your path. Okay. And then for those of you that chose the amethyst sphere. All right, this one. Amethyst. Boundaries with Ishtar, if you can see that. And it says, love yourself enough to say no to others, demands on your time and on your energy. So this is kind of similar in a way to Aphrodite, where you're needing to create boundaries and respect yourself and love yourself enough to say no, or not overly burden yourself or get involved in too many things that are just going to be too chaotic for you. You know, the more we take on, and a lot of us, we do want to help people. We do want to be of service to people. But sometimes we just need to limit what we're doing, or say, you know, I want to do that for you, but I'll have to check into that later because right now I have a full plate, or I have enough that's going on and I can't take anything else on. So just be mindful to create the proper boundaries for yourself in the month of August so that you can take care of you and do what is necessary for your self-care. All right, everyone, have a wonderful month of August. Be sure to tune into the weekly angel card readings, and I will see you again very soon. Love and light to all. Mwah. I love you. Bye-bye.